Welcome to the DKHizouse. You know what we talking about. Welcome to the DKHizouse. That's what we gonna run our mouth. Hey y'all, just a little disclaimer. Everything is for entertainment purposes only. Everything is alleged. I don't know none of these people. I'm just giving my thoughts, my opinions, predictions on what I think I see and know and hear. And I want you to do the same down in the comment section. So don't take everything too seriously, but only with a grain of salt, because we be chefing it up in this kitchen. And welcome, glad to have you. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you've been here a couple of times, we'd love to have you in the fam bam. So here to talk about Snoop Dogg, the man himself. One of the icons living, one of the greatest to do it. Might as well talk about it. I'm not really into the gangster lean and everything, but hey, I definitely rocked it and bumped it in my day, and I can appreciate a person who's doing their thug thizzle anyway and anyhow. And Snoop Dogg is one of those names that everybody seems to know. Everybody knows who you're talking about when you say Snoop Doggy Dogg. He's been an actor in different movies, on different sets, and he's also been on talk shows, TV shows with Martha Stewart, different things at different brands. He also has a song that, is also been hits and everything like that. So, shout out to Snoop Dogg for doing his thing. And I'm about giving people their flowers and accolades while they are here. Sometimes I talk about things that's kind of crazy and wild and out of control. And sometimes I talk about things that's dealing with random stuff, topics, and people. So here's one of them topics. We're here to talk about the fact that Snoop Dogg is a family man. And I know a lot of people, when they see Snoop Dogg, that'll be the last thing that they would think of. That Snoop Dogg is out here living on his fam and his friends and stuff like that. Like, who would think that? But he obviously is. That's what he does. So I commend him for that, because I actually been wanting to do this video for a while. I just hadn't got around to it. I'm playing makeup today. But yeah, I love the fact that he is a family man. No matter how thugger he is, no matter how gutter he is, no matter how snoopy he is, Snoop Dogg is a family man, and that is commendable, especially when it comes to black people, our people. I love to hear that black people love family, because if you don't know, I feel like it's been an attack on black homes, black families, black people in general, and one of the biggest attacks is on the family dynamic, the family system. They want some of the men in the jails, the penitentiaries, our schools are somewhat messed up, fudged up, and we get a lot of turmoil and stuff that we have to encounter on a daily basis just to be who we are as people. And through all that, to be able to maintain a family, a home, kids, family, despite all that stuff. And then he has this thugger mentality, impression that people consider him of, He's also a comedian. Like, if you see him post stuff, he's a lot of humor to it that will have you laughing as well. I remember saying one time, be on the side of my neck, like, Snoop Dogg, you're not the educational type, you're more of the comical type. But he could do both. He's at an age now where we can see that he's not so corny anymore. He's mature, he's grown, he's involved, he's intellectual, and he has to be a smart man to know that family should come first, and family is very, very important. And I'm very much here for it, excited about it. That avenue. He knows that he didn't get where he is just by himself alone. He has a good woman by his side who's been rocking with him for years and years and years, which is a very amazing love story, because so often relationships end very fast, very heatedly, and very fast, especially if you are a celebrity, especially if you're in the eyes of the people, especially if your husband is Snoop Doggy Dogg or somebody like him. So with that being said, his wife is a very strong woman, committing to her. Shout out to her as well, to be able to handle and deal with somebody like Snoop Dogg, and just to keep going forward despite all the rumors, despite all the stuff she had to deal with in this entertainment business. So I'm happy to see that. And on top of that, he has family, he has kids, he has grandkids. Snoop Dogg is a grandfather. He's a granddaddy. And so we have to acknowledge all that, because I just want to give him his accolades for keeping up and staying up with his family. I got to give me a clapping sound immediately. But anyway, if you did not know, a while back, I think his daughter Brodus had came to the I don't even know if that's her name. I forgive me if it's that. I don't know why I want to say that, but it's a beautiful name. Like, where does that even come from? If that is her name, so unique. I would love to know the backstory to that, where it came from, what is it from, what does it mean? Because she's a beautiful girl, and yes, she's dark skinned, but she's beautiful. She's an amazing girl, and I feel like she had a moment in her life where she was questioning that beauty, questioning her life, questioning things in general, and to a point that she was crying, and she even went to social media about it. Like, yeah, I'm Snoop Dogg's father, but I go through stuff, and like people were able to relate to her, see her on a different level, and just see her and her family as humans. Because so often we put these people on a pedestal, thinking that they don't go through things, they don't experience life, they don't even have families for real, but obviously they do. So I love the way that Snoop Dogg stood in for his daughter. I think it was about a year or two ago. It's not even recent. But he stood in, spent more time with his family, make sure she was good, make sure she got through that hump, and she's thriving, she's surviving, and she's bigger, better, more beautiful than ever before. And I love to see that. You know, not only is he the man, the head of the house, he's, you know, he's displaying that and making sure his family's good, not just him good, his family's good. You know, he's serving as that provider. I love that. And at this time, his daughter was much older. I think she was above 18. And so just because a child is over 18 doesn't mean the parenting stops. It just means that you're that shoulder that they can call on and depend on, because this thing called life can be unexpected, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. But if you have that right structure, that foundation, you're going to be all right. You're going to get through it. But anyway, she has gotten through it, and now she's engaged, and she seems to be happier than ever. And wow, she's just being more and more modest through it all. Like, you look at her face, like, it's amazing. You see bits of him, you see bits of her mother in her, and I just love to see it. And I'm glad she's made the evolution to know, like, yeah, I was stumbling in this particular moment. I was having a moment, but I got through it. I'm getting through it. I'm past that moment. I'm over that moment. And now I can be an example to somebody else who's going through that moment themselves. But like I said, I just appreciate how Snoop Dogg did it, because he did it in a very quiet way. Of course, he was supportive of his daughter. He used to come as his daughter. But I feel like he embraced her. He took in her pain and let her put her shoulder on his chest and let him know that it was going to be all right. And I think she was even in a car wreck. And I think, that was either he helped or she just came about a new car on her own. Then she had a boyfriend issue that she was going back and forth with. And I think now that they're engaged, because a lot of people were trying to give her flack of he can't possibly like her only because she's Snoop Dogg's daughter. But when you look at her, she's a beautiful, beautiful woman, and chocolate woman at that. I love chocolate women that are beautiful. I mean, look at JT. She's chocolate, but she's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So they do exist. And yes, she was a little bit on the rounder side of things, but she wore it well, and she's, even more curvaceous now, thicker, sexier form. And she's even expressed her sexuality. She's posted somewhat provocative photos, but not too provocative. So she's very confident in who she is, and I love that about her, because she's a very beautiful, beautiful woman, no matter what size, shape, or form she's in, because women come in all shapes and sizes. She looks amazing. She looks beautiful. She's drop dead gorgeous. And if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. So if her man wants her, that's the reason why. Now, despite the other stuff, that can come because that's what men do if they are losers. But I feel like he obviously sees the beauty in her, because I obviously can see it. I'm not blind. I ain't legally blind yet, and I hopefully never will be. Okay, so I just admire the fact of how you see Snoop Dogg behind the scenes. Like, he didn't say too much, and that's men. Sometimes they don't really talk a lot, especially people like Snoop Dogg. But he took action, and that's what I acknowledge, and I notice, and I see, and I hope men would look at this example, because there's so many broken homes out there, especially men who get these women pregnant and then they dip on them, and then they have the single family generational curse thing going on over and over and over again. Then it reproduces and reproduces. So right now, Snoop Dogg is also an example. He's a family man. He's a grandpa. He's a family man. So he was posting, more of his family dynamic right after that cry for help. And that says a lot about him and who he is as a person, despite what people think or may say or feel. Maybe he being silly or comical, whatever. He loves his family wholeheartedly. And when they needed him the most, he didn't dip on them and say, get over it, figure it out. He was there in the grind, the dust with them to make sure they was good. And now look at her. She's thriving. She's not the same person anymore. We never are, you know? I love that. I love it. Almost brings a tear to my eye. It's amazing. So shout out to him for that. But like you would see him spending more time with his wife. They would dance together. They would just walk on the beach, just doing regular stuff, family stuff. You know, that was amazing to see, because people sometimes think that celebrity relationships are not real. Like they don't go through stuff, like they don't really experience real life, but they do. And it's good to see that. And he was have his grandchild, granddaughter, grandson in his life. I mean, his lap, bouncing it up and down, playing with his grandchild and being human, letting us see that he has a human side, you know. That was amazing. And I think he has some mixed grandkids too. I didn't even know that about Snoop Dogg, but he was vulnerable enough to let us see that side of him, and I love that, because I didn't know that. He also had a son that he showed, and like I don't even know who his people really are besides those who've been in social media that he's been showing, and his wife, you know, of several years, not just 10 years, 5 years, like 20 some years, I believe, or close to it. So that says a lot. Also, he's not only a businessman, he's a family man, and he's going to be there for his family. And that's amazing. Okay. That alone with himself, despite all his accolades in the movies, his songs, his comedy, he's a family man. And that's something that I would never have thought of Snoop Dogg to be. But the fact that I've seen him in that element took me to a different level that I didn't even know that I had, made me want to aspire to have a family unit, one that sits together, besides seeing so many broken homes, but just seeing a family unit that was able to stand the test of time, last, and be able to depend on each other when they're going through a hard time or suffering through something. They don't have to suffer through it alone. I mean, bouncing a baby on the lap seems insignificant, but how many men that are grandfathers do you know are bouncing babies on their lap? They'll usually leave it to the grandmother or the granddaughter or the child's mother. Like the fact that he's rolling up his sleeve, getting in the mud with it, you know, getting his hands dirty. That's what it's about being a man. That's what it's about being a family man. Not just about bringing the bread home, but making sure everybody in the home is good and copacetic too, and knows that you love and care for them despite what's going on around them in the world and stuff. Because the world can be cruel, the world can be heartless, the world can be crazy. And even in my adult age, I find out we still need that ear to listen to, that sense of know-how, guidance, direction, you know, and let us know, yeah, you crying now, but you gonna be smiling tomorrow. Just like Glorilla said, I may be down today, but that's why I love tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her, Snoop Dogg. Shout out to his family, beautiful family. And shout out to Brody. She got over that hump. She's now engaged, about to be spending her life with a man that she truly loves and admires, and apparently he loves and admires, respects her enough to be with her for the rest of his life. Because that's what's up. Because usually with men, despite what they go through, they usually won't be the one to separate. It's usually the female. So she's locked in. She got her somebody, a companion for life, and that's what she wants. Not saying that's what she needs, but that's what she has. That's what she wants, and that's commendable. That's respectful. Okay, so with that example, family unit, just to analyze your family. Like I said before, be more intentional of who you're laying down with and having babies with, because it's okay to, it's not only just to have a baby, a child. It's more so of you taking care of that family, that baby, that child, that woman who helped produce your legacy, your generation, your seed. Is valuable. So you need to treat them as such, not when they're going through something, tear them down and beat them up and this and that. Lift them up. Y'all are a unit. Y'all are together. Okay? Because it's so easy to be tore down by the world. When you come home, that is a support system that you need to be strong and vibrant. And I love the fact that Snoop Dogg and his family are vibrant, strong people, and he's giving us. Well, as always, thank you for stopping by at His House for your alleged tea, entertainment, and gossip and predictions. And we will definitely have more So definitely come back and see us. And if you want to be notified, hit that bell and also subscribe, especially if you've been here before. Come back again and again. But subscribe and join the fam band. We'd love to have you. And if you liked anything that was said on today or even made you laugh, joke, think, ponder, make sure you hit that thumbs up or that like button, especially if you agree or disagree. And comment down below.